Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Chaitanya Caritamrta overview class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarani. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing our discussion from Chaitanya Charitamrta. We are on Madhya Lila, chapter 22nd, entitled The Process of Devotional Service. In this chapter, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is beautifully explaining the Abhidheya. Previous chapter, Mahaprabhu explained the Sambandha Gyan. He described about the various aspects of Krishna, the opulence of Krishna, the sweetness of Krishna. He described about the spiritual world, the expanse of the spiritual sky, material world. He described the beauty of Krishna. And in this chapter, he is describing the process of devotional service. So far, we have heard Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describing the supremacy of Krishna Bhakti over karma, yoga, and jnana, how bhakti is not dependent on any of these paths, and one can get devotional service by the mercy of devotees. We have completed till verse number 70. In the last section, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described the classification of devotees based on the faith they have. The Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama. Shraddhavana jana hoye bhakti adhikari. Uttama, Madhyama, Kanishta, Shraddha Anusari. He quoted various verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll continue from verse number 71. Now he is describing, classifying devotees based on the Rati and Prema. Rati Prema Taratamye Bhakta Taratam Ekadasha Skande Tare Koriyache Lakshan. So a devotee is considered superlative or superior according to Rati and Prema, according to his attachment and love for Krishna. And Krishna, he describes this in the 11th canto in Uddhava Gita, as he is explaining various concepts. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport the details of Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttam Adhikari devotees. He quotes Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who writes that if one has developed faith in Krishna consciousness, he is eligible for advancing, further advancement. The basic requirement is faith. If faith has come, the faith means Krishna is the Supreme Lord and I will serve Krishna only. That is a faith. That is a pure faith. That means I will depend on Krishna for everything. I will not go to any other devatas. I will not do any other Vedic rituals. I will only practice bhakti. So depending on the faith, a person may have a little faith, a little better, or a firm faith. Depending on that, they are Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttam. This Uttam Adhikari devotee has firm conviction in scriptures. And he is expert in establishing the principles of scriptures by various debates and arguments. He can defeat anyone. Just like Srila Prabhupada. He could debate with anyone and he could establish the principles of pure devotional service. So that's a pure devotee. That is Uttamadhikari. And this Uttamadhikari never falls down. He is always a pure devotee. He is always Uttama. Although he may mix with some non-devotees to preach, but he never gets affected by their contaminated consciousness. That is a Uttama Adhikari devotee. And then Prabhupada writes in the purport that the conviction and faith gradually of a Madhyama Adhikari gradually increase to bring him to Uttama level. This Madhyam, he has firm conviction in Krishna consciousness, but He's not so expert in quoting scriptures. Shastradishu anipunaha sarvatha dridha nishchayaha. He's very strong in his determination, but he's not so expert in scriptures. Gradually, by studying scriptures and associating with the Uttama Adhikari, the first class devotees, he also becomes a Uttama Adhikari. But a Kanishtha, a neophyte devotee, he does not have firm faith. He cannot quote any scriptures. He believes that only Krishna and nobody else. That's it. I am not interested in devotees. Krishna consciousness is good, but his devotees are troublesome. He may not know the basis of Krishna consciousness also. And he gets attracted to other things. He gets attracted to karma, jnana, yoga, all these Vedic rituals mentioned in the Vedas. He gets attracted to these rituals. His faith is still not pure. His faith is very shallow. Yahara Komala Shraddha se Kanishta Jan. Komala Shraddha means very soft faith, pliable faith, which gets contaminated very easily. It is very, very important for all the practitioners to keep their faith pure. Because if our faith is not pure, we'll not be able to advance in Krishna consciousness. This faith, pure faith, makes us qualified to practice Uttama Bhakti. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyana anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. This is Uttama Bhakti. This Vaidhi sadhana bhakti which we are practicing, it is Uttama Bhakti. It is not something lesser. This is very, very important to understand that whatever bhakti, sadhana bhakti, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti we are practicing, it is Uttam Bhakti. And we don't need to follow any Vedic rituals. But a neophyte devotee, he gets into all these Vedic rituals. He follows all the Karmakandiya ceremonies also, Shraddha, okay, go to astrologer for this problem, or take care of these Vastu problems, all these are there. A devotee doesn't put faith in all these things. That is very important. Otherwise, we will never be able to practice pure devotional service if we are putting faith in all the other rituals also. Our bhakti, our faith is pure and it should remain pure. We should be very careful to keep it pure. Otherwise, nowadays, there's a trend that, okay, I'm practicing Krishna consciousness, but I have this problem in my astrology. So some of my devotee friend has told me to go to this person, he's very expert astrologer and he'll give you some solution. And the astrologers, what solution they'll give? Worship, do this puja, Shani ka dosh hai, ye Rahu hai, Ketu hai and all this. You do this puja and you will solve your problem and then you will practice your bhakti only, na? It is not like that. Going to Devtas or solving our material problems, that means we are risking our faith in Krishna. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhaya archetum ichchati tasya tasya achala shraddha tameva vidadhamyaham. If somebody puts faith in some devata to solve their material problems, Krishna will make their faith strong in that devata. And then we'll not be able to worship Krishna properly. Our faith will be mixed. Or our problems will go to that devata, will not go to Krishna. Some devotees, they say, well, why are you troubling Krishna for all the small, small things? You solve your problems by going to this devata, you do this puja, you chant this mantra, and then you chant for some time this Mahamrityunjay mantra and all those are mantras of the Vedic, rituals. You worship Shiva, worship Shani, and you solve your problem, and then you worship Krishna only. No, what's the problem? There's a big problem. We are risking our faith. So Kanishtha means he puts his faith in all the other rituals also, because his faith in Krishna is not strong. Very soft faith. And he may fall down by associating with those who are non-devotees, or if some devotees also who don't have much faith, they are also practicing mixed bhakti only. So the bhakti which we are practicing, that is pure bhakti. But if we are not careful, that pure bhakti may become mixed bhakti, where I will worship Krishna for solving my material problems, or I may go to devatas with the primary intention of serving Krishna is I want to solve my material problems, or I want liberation from my distresses, or I want mukti, or I will worship some devatas also. That is mixed devotion. I'm not depending on Krishna. So therefore, this is very, very important to understand. Our faith is our treasure. We should never ever uh, try to do anything which will compromise our pure faith. Otherwise, devotees, they say, okay, you do this and then worship Krishna only. What is the problem? Just like you go to doctor and take treatment from him, you go to this devta and solve your material problems and then you worship Krishna only, na? No, there is a difference between going to doctor and taking treatment and going to devta and doing some puja. Because when we go to devta, when we go to doctors, we know this is material science. Although devtas also give some material solutions, but because there is subtle reality involved, some divinity involved, daiva. So therefore our faith gets divided. So we have to be really careful. So Prabhupada writes, when this Kanishta becomes free of all these contaminations and he becomes transcendental to mixed devotional activity, then he comes to Madhyama. Madhyama Adhikari means he practices pure devotional service. We may not be pure, we may have anarthas, but the bhakti which we are practicing is pure bhakti. Vaidhi sadhan bhakti is pure bhakti, it is uttam bhakti. It is not that bhav bhakti and prem bhakti are uttam bhakti and Vaidhi sadhana bhakti is not uttam bhakti. Sadhana bhakti, it is uttam bhakti because the limbs of sadhana bhakti are Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, all these are pure. It's only for Krishna, Krishna Anushilanam, for nobody else. Mahaprabhu gives a definition of these devotees based on their rati and prema. Sarvabhuteshu yah pashyet bhagavad bhavamatmanah bhutani bhagavatyatmani esh bhagavatottamaha. Sarvabhuteshu yah pashyet, one who sees in all beings, one who sees all beings situated in Bhagavad Bhava. He sees everything in Krishna. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina. Matsthani bhutani pashyame yogameshwaram. Matsthani sarva bhutani. I am in them, but I am not in them. So pure devotee, Uttam Bhakta, he sees every living entity as part and parcel of Krishna, and he sees Paramatma in everyone's heart. He sees, he understands Krishna to be the cause of all causes. And such a person, Bhutani Bhagavati Atmani, he sees within everything Paramatma. Krishna is there in everyone's heart. That is a pure devotee. Then this Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari is one who sees Paramatma in every being. Madhyamadhikari has 4 types of dealings with 4 types of people. Ishvare tat adhineshu balisheshu drisatsuja prema maitri kripopekshaya karoti samadhyama. There are 4 people. Ishvara, tad adhin means devotees. Balish, those who are innocent people. And Dvishatsu, those who are envious. He has 4 types of dealings with these 4 people. He loves Krishna, prema. So this is a Madhyamadhikari. He's not a pure devotee. He's not Uttam, but he loves Krishna. because his faith is pure. He's doing everything to serve Krishna. Although he may be troubled by his anarthas, but still he never gives up serving Krishna. That is a level of Madhyam. Apiche Suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhag. Ananya bhag bhakti he does even if he falls down. So he loves Krishna. Ishvare prema tad adhineshu maitri. Those who are devotees of Krishna, he makes friends with them. And those who are balish, those who are innocent, he shows mercy to them, he gives them Krishna consciousness. And those who are envious, he neglects them. Neglect means he doesn't enter into any spiritual discussions with this envious person. That is a Madhyam Adhikari devotee. And who is a Kanishta? For Kanishta, for him, Krishna and he. No devotee should come in between. Archayam eva haraye pujamya shraddhaye hate. He worships the deities with faith. Oh, he is Krishna. But na tad bhakteshu cha anyeshu. For this neophyte devotee, he is not interested in other devotees. Na tad bhakteshu and cha anyeshu. He never studies scriptures. He never understands the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. He's a Prakrita Bhakta, Sabhakta Prakrita. Prakrita means neophyte. Neophyte means always fighting, always fighting with devotees. So this type of devotee is called Bhakta Praya or Bhakta Abhas. These two terms Prabhupada writes in the translation. Bhakta Praya. He's like a devotee. He's not a devotee yet, but he's like a devotee. You cannot call him technically a devotee also, but he is like something like a devotee. Or Bhakta Abhas. He's little enlightened about Vaishnava philosophy. He'll know something. Okay, he's God. He will not know much. So he is Kanishta Adhikari. And then Srila Prabhupada and then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he starts describing the qualities of a Vaishnava. Vaishnava is one who has developed all wonderful transcendental qualities. In fact, all the good qualities of Krishna, they manifest in Krishna's devotees also. An iron rod kept in fire becomes fiery. Similarly, when a living entity is in touch with Krishna, he gets the qualities of Krishna, although in small amount. The 26 qualities of a devotee is described here. Before that, Mahaprabhu quotes a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto. Very famous verse. Yasyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunaiस्तत्र samasate sura harava bhaktasya kuto madguna manorathena sati dhavato bahi. Anybody who practices unalloyed devotional service, yasyasti bhakti akinchana. Akinchana bhakti means pure bhakti. Sarvair gunais tatra samasate sura. All the good qualities of devatas, all the divine qualities, they manifest in this devotee. Harav abhaktasya. A person who is not a devotee of Krishna, kuto mahadguna. There can never be any good quality in a non-devotee because they are only driven by their mental concoctions. We may see outsiders, those who are not practicing Krishna consciousness, they may also exhibit wonderful qualities. They may be very friendly, saintly qualities, always peaceful, helping others. But what is the use of such qualities if it is not bringing them closer to Krishna? Because all these qualities are only on the material level. And anything less than pure devotional level, that is called as Kaitava Dharma, cheating religion. Dharma projita Kaitavatra Parama. And then Kavira Mahaprabhu quotes these 26 qualities. So all these, Prabhu says, actually, nobody can explain these qualities fully. So I'll just point some of these qualities, some of these important. There are wonderful, many, many wonderful qualities. I'll point only some of them. Kripalu akrita droha satyasarasam nirdosha vadanya mridu shuchiya kinchan. He's very merciful. Kripalu. Akrita droha. He never agitates people. He's always very humble. Satyasarasam. He's truthful. He is nirdosha. He's faultless. Vadanya. Magnanimous. Shuchi. He's always clean. And akinchana. He doesn't have any material possessions. That means he doesn't have possessive mentality. Sarvopakaraka Shanta Krishnaika Sharan Akama Aniha Sthira Vijita Shadgun. Sarvopakaraka is always working for the welfare of others. Shanta, peaceful. Krishnaika Sharan. He is exclusively surrendered to Krishna. Krishna Eka, not anyone else. Akama, no material desires. Aniha, no. Aniha means he is actually indifferent to material possessions also. Whether they come, okay, good. Don't come, good. Aniha. Vijita Shadaguna. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, they are not there in this pure devotee. Vijita Shadaguna. मितभुक अप्रमत्तम मानद अमानी गंभीर करुण मैत्र कवि बक्षमौनी. He is mitbhuk. He doesn't indulge in sense gratification. He does the needful. He eats only to keep the body and soul together. Apramatta, he never gets illusioned. He doesn't expect any respect, and he gives all the respect. Manada, amani, never expecting respect and giving all the respect to others. And he is very, very grave. Karuna, compassionate. Maitra, he is always friend. Kavi, he is a poet. Daksha, he is expert. And he is Mauni. Mauni means he is silent. Silent means he'll never speak anything which is not related to Krishna. These are the 26 qualities of a perfect being. Pure devotee. In other devotees, they may manifest little. Pure devotee, they manifest all these qualities. Titikshava karunika surita sarvadehina majata shatra shanta sadhava sadhubhushanam. Mahaprabhu quotes this verse from Bhagavatam also. The devotees, they are tolerant. Titikshava, they tolerate. Karunika, always compassionate. Surida sarvadehinam, they are welfare workers. They are well-wishers of everyone. They have no enemies. Ajata shatrava, shanta, peaceful. These are the sadhus, and these are the ornaments of a Vaishnava, sadhu bhushana. The ornament of a Vaishnava is not, kanthimala, tilak, and all the other jewelry. These qualities are the ornaments of a Vaishnava. So Kapila Dev, as he is describing this wonderful practice of devotional service to his mother, he tells that there are three ways in which you can achieve perfection. Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. Out of these three, Bhakti Yoga is the simplest and the best. How to get devotional service? By being with devotees. How to understand who is a devotee? He has some secondary qualities and the primary qualities. What are the primary secondary qualities? Titikshava, Karunika, Suridas Sarvadehinam, Ajata Shatrava, Shanta, Sadhava, Sadhubhushana. These are the secondary qualities of a devotee. And then the primary quality of a devotee is he is always thinking of Krishna. He never wastes time. He is always absorbed thinking about the Lord. So that is the primary quality of a devotee. And then, I'll just find that verse where, yeah. मयि अनन्य भावेन भक्तिं कुर्वन्ति ये दृढाम् मत्कृते त्यक्त कर्माण त्यक्त स्वजन बांधवा. This is the primary quality of a devotee. Kapil Dev tells to his mother. मयि अनन्य भावेन भक्ति कुर्वन्ति ये दृढाम्. They perform very determined devotional service. Ananya bhavena, without any deviations. So these are the qualities of a pure devotee. And association of such great devotees is must. The next four verses, Mahaprabhu glorifies Vaishnava association, satsanga. Beautiful verses he is quoting from Srimad Bhagavatam. महत्सेवां द्वारमाहुर्विमुक्ते स्तमो द्वारं योषितां संगि संगम महान्तस्ते समचित्ता प्रशान्ता विमन्यवस्वरितः साधवो ये. महत्सेवां द्वारमाहुर्विमुक्ते, by association of saintly people the doors of liberation are opened. Tamodvaram yoshitam sangi sangam, and if one associates with materialistic people or the sense objects, tamodvaram, the doors to hell is opened. Mahantaste samachitta prashanta, the great devotees of the Lord, they are equipoised, they are always peaceful. Vimanyava, they are never angry, and they are surida sadhavaha, they are friendly to all. An association of such devotees, they are the birthplace of devotion. Krishna bhakti janma mula hai sadhu sangha, Krishna prema janmete ho punah mukhya anga. Krishna bhakti janma mula. What is the root of the devotion, birth of devotion? Sadhu sangha. Krishna prema punah hoy. And by association of devotees, one gets Krishna prema also. The devotion takes birth and achieves perfection only in association of devotees. Nobody can say, okay, now I am an advanced devotee or a pure devotee, now I don't need association. Association is essential for everyone. In the neophyte stage or in beginning stages, association is needed to make us strong, make us stable, and increase our convictions. In the later stages, the pure devotional stages, when a devotee is completely purified, association is required to relish Krishna consciousness. Parasparanukathanam pavanam bhagavatyasaha mitharati mithatushti nivritti mithatmanah. In association, one can relish Krishna katha. One can experience Krishna consciousness. One can experience various rasas with the devotees only. Otherwise, it is very difficult. Bhakti takes birth only when we are in association, and it achieves perfection only in association. Mahaprabhu quotes another verse from Bhagavatam 10th canto. Bhavapavargo brahmato yatha bhavet janasya tarhi achyuta satsamagamaha satsangamo yarhi sadaiva tadgato paravareshe tvai matati. Bhava apavargo brahmato yatha bhavet. After wandering in this material world, in upper and lower planetary systems, Achyuta Janasya, if a living entity, O Achyuta, O infallible Lord, if a living entity gets Sat Samagamaha, it gets association of your devotees, then he becomes liberated, he becomes eligible for liberation. Satsangamo yarahi tadaiva satgato. And when he associates with devotees, Tvai jayate rati. The rati attraction for you is awakened. The door of liberation is opened. One develops attraction for the Lord only in association of devotees. Only in association of devotees one can achieve this. Ata atyantikam shemam prichamo bhavato anagaha samsare yasmin kshanardhepi satsangas sevadhirinam. The atyantik kshema of every living entity, the ultimate beneficial activity for every living entity is satsanga. That is the highest treasure, because in that association one gets highest benediction, highest treasure. Sevadhi means the treasure. The association of a devotee, even for half a moment, is the greatest treasure. Shanardhe asmin, samsare asmin shana ardhepi. Even half a moment's association, that is the greatest treasure of a living entity. Dhan, that is the greatest dhan. So when we hear such type of verses from Bhagavatam, then sometimes we understand, okay, really association is very important. Without association, it is impossible to advance. By association, we come in Krishna consciousness, we advance in Krishna consciousness, and one will achieve perfection only in association. And we will need association even after perfection. सतां प्रसंगान् मम वीर्य संविदो भवन्ति हृत्कर्ण रसायन कथा तद्जोषणादाश्वपवर्गवर्त्मनि श्रद्धारतिर्भक्तिरनुक्रमिष्यति. Kapila Dev, he tells his mother, Krishna Katha, which is discussed in association of devotees, Satam Prasangan, Mama Virya Samvido. Kapila Dev is telling, my pastimes, when they are discussed in association of devotees, what happens then? Joshanad Ashu Apavarg, they open the doors of liberation. Apavarga Vartmani, and three things they come: Shraddha, Rati, Bhakti, Anukramshyati. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, Shraddha and Rati means Bhava and Bhakti means Prema. So gradually one develops spontaneous Bhava and Prema by association of devotee only. That is the power of devotional service. That is the power of association of devotees. So Mahaprabhu, he describes in great detail about this power of association of devotees. It is must. Without association, if somebody thinks I can practice devotional service without association of devotees, that means they have not understood. Prabhupada right tells that he's mad. If somebody says I can practice bhakti alone, that means he has not understood the principles of devotional service only. And then after this, Mahaprabhu starts explaining the dangers of non-devotee association. असत्संग त्याग ए वैष्णवाचार स्त्री संगी एक साधु Krishna abhakt are. What is the etiquette a Vaishnava follows? How to understand who is a Vaishnava? Asatsang tyag. A devotee will never associate with non-devotees. What is association? In association, 6 things are done. Tadati, pratigranati, guhyam akhyati, prichati, bhunkte, bhojayate, chaiva, shadavidha, priti, lakshanam. These are the 6 things. If we are not doing these 6 things, that is not association. While dealing with our friends and relatives and colleagues and office mates who are not devotees, we should be careful not to do these 6 things. And amongst these, the most dangerous is guhyam akhyati prichati. Sharing articles, okay. Sharing food, we don't take their food, we give prasad to them. But when it comes to sharing our thoughts, we should be very careful to do only with the devotees. A Vaishnava, Asat Sangha Tyag a Vaishnava Achar. And what is Asat Sangha? Stri Sangi, Eka Asadhu, and Krishna Abhakta. One who is associating with sense gratification, or women, or for man, for women, for man, and man for women. Stri Sangi, Ek Asadhu, who has no good qualities and who is not a devotee. Because their association is very dangerous. And Bhagavatam and in many places, the danger of asatsang is described. Prabhupada quotes many times this verse from Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya. निष्किञ्चनस्य भगवद्भजनोन्मुखस्य पारं परं जिगिमशो भवसागरस्य सन्दर्शनं विषयिणामथ योषितां च हा हन्त हन्त विषभक्षणतोऽप्यसाधु. It is better to stay in a pit full of snakes than to be with non-devotees who are indulging in sense gratification. Very dangerous. Because when we associate with worldly people, you know what happens? Satyam shaucham daya maunam buddhi rishiyasha kshama shamo damo bhagascheti yat sangat yati sankshayam. When we associate with worldly people, Mahaprabhu quotes these verses from, again, third canto, where Kapiladev describes the activities of materialistic people, the sinful people. By their association, what all is lost? Satyam, truthfulness, cleanliness, mercifulness, silence or gravity, buddhi, intelligence, means shyness, austerity, shama, yasha, fame, shamo means sense control, dama, mind control. Everything is lost, all the opulence is lost. Teshu ashanteshu mudheshu khanditatmasvasadushu sangam na kuryashosheshu yoshit kridamrigeshu cha. Never ever associate with such people. Sangam na kuryat. Never associate with people who are bereft of self-realization. They never endeavor for self-realization. They are like the puppets in the hands of women. Yoshit Kridamrigeshu cha. They are controlled by the opposite gender. And there is no entanglement which is more powerful than entanglement and attachment to the opposite gender. Na tathasya bhaven moho bandhaschanya prasangatah. Na tatha asya bhaven moho bandha. There is no greater bondage which can come to a man than from attachment to the opposite gender. Yoshit sangad yatha pumso. Association with opposite gender or association with people who are enjoying sense gratification. Yoshit sangad yatha pumso yatha tat sangi sangata. Vishaya and Vishayi both are dangerous. Wish kills this body. Vishay may kill many bodies. We may take birth, enjoy, die, again take birth. But Vishayi, when we associate with sense gratifiers, the desire for sense gratification will never go. That is most dangerous. Prabhupada writes, Kapil Dev, as he is describing the pious and impious activities of the living entities, he is describing the symptoms of those who are devoid of devotional service. And gradually they fall down to hell. The desire to enjoy takes this living entity sometimes to higher, sometimes to lower. Purusha prakriti stoi bhungte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangosya sad asad yoni janmasu. Sometimes takes birth in higher species, sometimes lower species. वरम हुत वहज्वाला पंजरांतर्व्यवस्थिति न शौरी चिंता विमुख जन संवास वैशसम. Very strong verse Mahaprabhu is quoting. When it comes to association of devotees, he says, Varam means better. What is better? Varam huta vahajwala. It is better to be surrounded by flames of fire. Or Panjarantar Vyavasthiti, or it is better to stay in prison behind the bars. Na Shauri Chinta Vimukho, than to associate with those people who are Shauri Chinta Vimukha. Shauri is Krishna. Chinta, meditation on Krishna. Those who are Vimukha. Those who are not thinking about Krishna, not devotees of Krishna, they are not Krishna conscious. It is better to associate, it is better to be in the midst of fire or to be in the prison than to associate with non-devotees. That is the extent a devotee fears on devotee association. In fact, Mahaprabhu says one should not even see those who are not devotees and those who are not having pious qualities. And then Mahaprabhu starts describing one should exclusively surrender to Lord Krishna without hesitation. Ete sab chhadiyara varnashrama dharma akinchana hoilaya krishnaika sharana. One should give up all the varnashram duties. Eta sab chhadi, give up all the material duties. Varnashrama dharma, give up all the varnashram dharma. And akinchana hoyalaya krishnaika sharana. Without any other motive. Take shelter of Krishna exclusively. Exclusive shelter of Krishna means I will not go to anyone else for my problems. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. Mahaprabhu quotes this, depending on Krishna always. Because Krishna is the only person who is worth taking shelter. He is Sharanya. Everything about Krishna is worth. He is Shravaniya, Namaniya, Kathaniya, Ujjaniya, Smaraniya, Sprihaniya, Shravaniya. Everything about Darshaniya, everything about Krishna is worth. It is worth taking darshan of Krishna. It is worth desiring Krishna. It is worth worshipping Krishna. It is worth taking shelter of Krishna. Sharanya. Because who is Krishna? Bhakta Vatsala Kritagya Samartha Vadanya Hena Krishna Chhadi Pandit Nahi Bhaje Anya. Because Krishna, he is Bhakta Vatsal, he is affectionate to his devotees. He is Kritagya, he is grateful to his devotees for whatever little devotional service we do, we render to Krishna. Krishna is grateful for that. In Bhagavad Gita, when it comes to describing the 4 types of people who come to Krishna, Sukrita, Chaturveda bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna arto artharti jigyasu jnani. Krishna says they are all magnanimous. Udara sarva evaite jnani tu atmeva me matam. What is so magnanimous about them? They have come to me. They could have gone to Devtas, but they have come to me. That is the magnanimous nature. That is grateful. That is the gratitude Krishna shows to people, to devotees. Bhaktavatsala, Kritagya, and he is Samartha. He is capable of giving protection and he is very merciful. Vadanya. He is merciful and he is capable. What can be the better combination than this? Somebody may be merciful, but he may not be capable. Somebody may be capable, he may not be merciful. He is both. And on top of that, he is grateful. If you ask shelter, if somebody goes to a billionaire and asks for some help, will the billionaire be grateful? Oh, you are asking charity, I'm so very grateful. He will give charity in the mood of, okay, I'm giving so much favor. He's grateful that you have come to me. Who is that learned person who will not take shelter of Krishna? Eba Krishna chadi, Pandit keha nahe bhaje anya. Pandit will never worship anyone else. Why one should take shelter of any other devtas? Only a lowest fool, Prabhupada writes. Only a lowest fool will go to devtas. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavati alpamedhasam. Only a less intelligent person will go to devtas. Mahaprabhu quotes a beautiful verse from 10th canto. Akrura, he goes, Krishna, he goes to the house of Akrura to give him darshan. And Akrura is so very overwhelmed, so very grateful. Kapanditastwadaparam sharanam samiyad bhakta priya ritagira surida kritagyat sarvan dadati surido bhajato bhikaman atmanam atmanamapya pachayo nayasya. He says, Ka pandita todaparam sharanam samiya. Arre, who is that learned scholar who will not take your shelter, O Krishna, because you are Bhakta Priya. You are very dear to your devotees. And you are Surida, you are affectionate, you are well-wisher. Ritagira, whatever you speak comes true. You never speak any lie. You are Ritagira. And you are Kritagya also. The same things. Akrura is speaking all these qualities of Krishna. And therefore, what you do, Sarvan dadati abhikaman. You fulfill all the desires of your devotees, and on top of it, you give yourself to your devotees. Atmanam api. So who will not take shelter of you? And you are so wonderful, you never increase or decrease by giving yourself. It is not that, oh, Lord gave himself to so many people, now he has reduced in his potency. No. Upachaya, apachaya. You neither increase or decrease. You always remain the same. Om apavitra. Om purnamada purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate purnasya purnamadaya purnameva avashishyate. That is Krishna. So therefore, who will not take your shelter of Krishna? Who will? So that is what Mahaprabhu is telling. Vigya janera hoy yadi Krishna gunagyan anyataji bhaje tate buddhava praman. If an intelligent person understands the Vigya Jana, intelligent persons, Yadi Hoy Krishna Guna Gyan. If somebody understands the wonderful qualities Krishna has, he's Kritagya, he's Vadanya, he's Bhaktavatsala, Suridavatsala, who will not take shelter? He will give up everything else to take shelter of Krishna only. And who is Praman, who is evidence of it? Uddhava himself is telling, अहोबकीयं स्तनकालकूटं जिघांसयाप्यायदप्यसाधवि लेबे गतिं धात्र्युचितं ततोऽन्यं कमवा दयालुं शरणं व्रजेम. Who is that merciful, who is that intelligent person who will not take shelter of a merciful person like you, O Krishna? Putana came to kill you, and you gave her position of Dhatri. Brahmaji, in his prayers in the 14th chapter of 10th canto, he says, Krishna, what is remaining with you to give to Brajvasis? You gave the position of mother to Putana, who came to kill just because she came in the dress of a devotee. You delivered her and her entire family. Aghasur, Bakasur, they are all family members of Putana. Sadveshadiva Putana Pisakula Twameva Deva Pita Yadham Arth Surit Priya Atmatanaya Pranashayasvat Krite. अरे क्या बच गया आपके पास इनको देने के लिए? ब्रजवासीज हैव गिवन एवरीथिंग टू यू. देयर धाम, अर्थ, प्रिय, आत्मा, they gave their families, their home, their wealth, they gave themselves, they gave their children, they gave their life. अभी क्या बच गया आपके पास इनको देने के लिए? So who will not take shelter of Krishna? Because Krishna is so very merciful. Kamava dayalum sharanam brajema. So that is wonderful nature of Krishna. And then Mahaprabhu says there are two types of devotees. There are those devotees who are Sharanagata, and there are devotees who are Akinchana. Akinchana means they have no material desires. And Sharanagata, they are fully surrendered to Krishna. But amongst them, they have some qualities common. There is one other quality a devotee has, another type of devotee. He is Atma, he does Atma Samarpan. He surrenders everything. So he'll describe more about this Atma Samarpan. Very, very wonderful, very famous words of Shadvida Sharanagati is going to come now. Okay, we'll continue from verse number 99 in the next class. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai.